Alright, I am back. It is almost 3 in the afternoon now. And we have to get the last drop in Invaded Winters. Because there's only 2 drops to get here, and I already got the first one. And it's a 1 in 128 chance. Why? Why is this game obsessed with 1 in 128 odds? And that enemy is the Whirling Robo. And they have a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a Meteorite. Okay, we already got a Whirling Robo somehow. That was fast. Hold on, my camera looks off. Oh my god. All right, it's good now. All right, we have the save state. He's singled out. And hopefully this won't take too long, even though it's one of the rarest enemy drops in the game. So I might as well just go ahead and get started. And the Whirling Robo is a palette swap of the Spinning Robo from Chapter 2. But the difference with the Whirling Robo is, you guessed it, they have more health and they're stronger. Who would have guessed? But if I'm being honest, the Whirling Robo is honestly pretty easy to kill. Well, really, every enemy in Invaded Winters is easy to kill. Okay, he missed. Since the Whirling Robo is one of Gygas's minions, it plays Battle Against a Machine, my favorite battle theme in the game. But you can't convince me a battle theme is better than Battle Against a Machine. Okay, so Jeff levels up after this fight. The words the enemy left are present have to appear before Jeff levels up, because that's how we know we got the drop. And obviously I'm not gonna get lucky with the Whirling Robo, like how I got lucky with it the first time I did this challenge, because I somehow managed to get their drop in like 15 minutes. Yeah, like obviously I'm not gonna get that lucky. But that's the thing with this challenge. You don't determine when the item drops. Like, I could get it right now and I wouldn't even know. Well, I would know if I use Jeff's spy command, but that's against the rules for this challenge. Because, you know, I want to create a sense of suspense when getting the drops. I don't want to just spy every single time and see that the enemy has the drop. Like that just feels like ruining the whole point of the challenge. Like, I feel like the whole point of this challenge is to test your persistence and patience, and then get rewarded if you have stayed patient. But using the spy command to see if the enemy has the drop or not, like that just doesn't feel right to me. Because at that point, it just feels like cheating. It doesn't actually feel like I'm being rewarded for being patient with the enemies. And even then, the Jeff spy command doesn't always work when it comes to enemy drops. Because an enemy could still drop an item and the spy command can fail. Yeah, really, this shouldn't take too long. Because in my opinion, the Whirling Robo's drop is definitely one of the easier 1 in 120 items to get. Because by the time you get to Invaded Winters, you can kill them in at the most 4 hits. But yeah, there's a few 1 in 128 drops easier than the Whirling Robo's drop. You know, like the Violent Roach from Chapter 3. It's incredibly easy to get their drop. It's incredibly easy to get their drop to the point where I didn't even use save states to get their drop because it's that easy. And the reason why is because they never group up and you always fight them singled out.
There. Go away. Reverse psychology, man. Every time they go in the stairs, every time they come in, you see them go. Look, watch this. Go away. Come here. Go away. Come here. That boy really so bold and small.
I'm really hoping this doesn't take too long. It really shouldn't. But you know, the game determines when I get the drop or not. And plus, the meteorite that the Whirling Robo is gonna drop really isn't gonna be that much use to me. Because the only point of a meteorite is to sell it for money. Because they don't do anything. Like, yeah, when you sell a meteorite, you do get $2,000 from it. But it's way easier to get $2,000 by just killing a few enemies. It really isn't that difficult to get thousands of dollars in this game. And once we get the Whirling Rebels drop, we'll have reached another milestone. Because once we get this guy's drop, there will only be 30 drops left in the challenge. Yep, only 30. You know, having only 30 drops left may not seem like a lot, but trust me, it's still a lot to get through.
Move!
Like, trust me, we still have a lot more game to get through. I mean, I have to destroy an entire alien base. I have to convert an entire village into extroverts. Then I have to do the Lumine Hall Sanctuary. And then fall into a hole called the Lost Underworld, filled with massive dinosaurs. Go through an underground volcano known as the Fire Spring Sanctuary. Then do Chapter 9. And then finally we'll be at the end of the game. Like, it's still a lot to get through. Okay, a smash hit from Paula is enough to kill it. In just one hit. Okay, she just one-shot the Whirling Robo again. Dude, is Paula on demon time or something? She has to be. You know, I think Paula is ready to become a goddess. Because Ness is a god. Jeff became a god not too long ago. Once he fixed the broken bazooka. And he got the heavy bazooka. And I think Paula's ready to become a goddess. Even though I honestly expected her to become OP last. Because if I'm being honest, once we're done with Chapter 7, literally nothing is going to be able to kill me at this point. Like, I'm just going to become too powerful. Well, for some reason, I just came up with a challenge idea for this game. And no, it is not going to involve drops. Because trust me, I'm never doing this challenge again once it's done. I'm thinking of trying to beat this game without using PSI at all. Yeah, I know it has already been done, but you know, I don't want to be like Flyhammer and try to beat the game without weapons, PSI, equipment, items, and save states. Which is insane to me that you can beat the game with literally nothing. Excuse me. But in order to do that, you have to be incredibly lucky with the enemies. And you just have to become super overpowered. Okay, he just tried to give one of us a cold. Dude, I completely forgot the Whirling Robo can do that. Dude, I just completely forgot it can give you a cold. Yeah, we should be able to get some of the drops in the Stonehenge base today. We're definitely not going to be able to finish the Stonehenge base today. But we can definitely get a few drops in the Stonehenge base today. But yeah, I think the main issue with the Stonehenge base is the fact that it's one of the largest dungeons in the game, if not the largest one. Like there's only 5 enemies in the Stonehenge base, and yet the Stonehenge base is huge. Oh yeah, and 3 out of those 5 enemies have 1 in 128 odds. Because why not? You know, it's like the game is actually going out of its way to make me suffer if I want these drops. But once the Stonehenge base and the Lamine Hall Sanctuary is done, Chapter 7 will finally be done. Oh, yes. Let's go. Mediotite. We got the drop. That's the last one in the Invaded Winters. All right, Invaded Winters is complete. We can move on. All right, we gotta sell this Mediotite because Mediotites are actually useless. Yeah, give me my $2,000. Now let's save the game. But yeah. After Chapter 7, Chapters 8 and 9 really shouldn't be too bad. Mainly because we're gonna have weapons strong enough so that we can be able to kill enemies more easily. Alright, so we have to get to Dr. Andonuts' lab. Because that's where Apple Kid is being... Well, that's where Apple Kid was before he was kidnapped. So we have to go to the lab. But for the edited version, this will all just be sped up. But for the unedited version, well, you actually have to watch the whole thing. So yeah, let's rest here. And let's continue the journey to the lab. Alright, so now I have to cross the lake. And then after that, we aren't too far away from Dr. Andonuts' lab. And the reason why Apple Kid was in Dr. Andonuts' lab is because he's trying to find Dr. Andonuts so that they can team up to make a machine called the Phase Distorter, which will allow us to warp through time. But yeah, Dr. Andonuts and Apple Kid got kidnapped and they're being held in the Stonehenge base. So yeah, we gotta go save them. And we also have to get 5 drops there. Because I have my priorities straight. Okay, he missed. He missed. He also missed. Dude, what is my luck? How did they both miss? Okay, Paula's level 51. Okay, Paula has PSI Shield Beta, which is a psychic power shield. So instead of canceling out PSI attacks, like with PSI Shield Alpha and Sigma, instead it'll reflect the PSI attacks back at the enemy. And the Woolly Shambler killed my Super Plush Bear. Hey man, I worked hard to get that Super Plush Bear. And I'm not even joking. It was a 2 in 128 drop from a hard crocodile back in the deep darkness swamp. Alright, we're back inside the Rainy Circle Sanctuary from chapter 4. But we don't gotta worry about the enemies here because we already got their drops. So yeah, we're just here because this is the only way to the lab. And then we don't have to worry about the Cave Boy or the Mighty Bear 7 either, because we also got their drops. Alright, we're back at the lab. We gotta talk to Apple Kid's mouse. And his mouse will give us the eraser machine. Because in order to get inside the Stonehenge base, we have to use the eraser machine to erase a giant metal eraser. So yeah, we touch that circle and we're in the Stonehenge base. I'm just gonna go ahead and unlock the eraser. Oh my god. I'm gonna go ahead and unlock the Stonehenge base, but I'm not actually gonna go deeper inside here, because this is gonna be for later. Okay, just have a Mighty Bear 7 spawn directly on top of me. That's fine. Hey, at least we're more powerful against it now. Dude, this thing was destroying me back in chapter 4. Okay. Did anyone lose any health? Okay. We didn't lose any health, so we just saved the game. Alright, so that is it for this recording. And we're gonna do some of the Stonehenge base enemies later today. but not right now because I have some footage that I need to edit and put out on YouTube. But I'm out.